I imagine almost all of you at some point has read the book or heard of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And that's the book that launched his training business and the one that's actually what all of his programs are really based upon. That is the essential premise of it. Okay, so one of the things about this is that one of the persons he's trying to really influence the most is himself. It's us. It's we. And that by doing this and caring about what other people are saying and caring about the other person itself, then what we're doing is making more people that are interested in what we have to say, rather than just speaking to them in general, like a lot of us have a tendency to do. So one of the things about Dale Carnegie, when you think of him, is that he wasn't this overly positive person. When we go back in history, you'll read about people and what they did, and we read about their successes and all. We think that they're always this genius, that when they got up, they were just genius. So when they had a disagreement with their spouse or their partners and all, they were always this genius person or had the right words to say. They were not. They felt as much on a daily basis as all of us do. But most people don't realize that Dale Carnegie never wanted to be what you think of him as in writing that book. That was far from his beliefs. Would you believe that he wanted to be an actor in Hollywood? He never succeeded at doing that. In fact, what he ultimately did is that he started doing some night classes in a small town, and he advertised them, and he started doing them for college. And I think they cost about $10 or $15, which was a lot of money in those days. And he started doing those simple nighttime courses and bring a fair number of people in. People didn't rush in like you would think and made it that he was overburdened with the prospect of all these new people coming in. He had to work very, very hard at it and constantly polishing his craft. He had a lot of failure at it. And his success in writing his book was talking about relaunching his career because he wanted to be an actor. He was passionate about being an actor, but guess what he had to do like so many people? He had to pivot. He had to pivot from one thing unto another. When you think of Thomas Edison, you think about his creating a light bulb, and sure we heard the story about his reinventing it or reimagining it 1,000 times or so. We hear that wonderful story, or 10,000 times, but we don't think about the guy who actually made a small disc and a doll in the 1890s that make the doll talking. You remember in the 70s or 80s, they had the doll for children they called Talking Tina. They had all these little things. But he actually invented this in 1898 and come to find out that making this little disc that actually inserted in the back of the neck of the doll actually was really cost prohibitive, and he couldn't do it. So we don't see that. But right now, what we have to do right now, because nothing is like it used to be. Normal doesn't exist. Normal never really existed, but a lot of us just want to get back to the normal that we had 3 years ago. But I don't know if it's ever going to come back in our lifetime. That's not bad news. The good news about it is that now you can have an impetus where you, as an anchor, to leverage what you know right now and pivot from what was in your career now to what can be even better. So we don't want you to think about every day wondering, boy, this is never going to happen. We're never going to pay the mortgage off. We're not going to make any money. We're not going to do this or that. Yes, you can. You can come back stronger than ever. You may not be the greatest attorney that you want to be, but you still can if that's what you want to do. If you want to launch a career on Facebook or somewhere else or any other place, there's many vehicles that do so. Thinkerific, you name them, where you can start your own cooking program. If you want to be someone that teaches people mechanics, you can still do that. There are countless people doing it, and you can find a way to monetize it. If you just want to have a home business where you're doing consulting, writing books, you can still monetize it. Don't let somebody tell you that nobody's making money on this. There's some people that are making a lot of money on it. And the way you can do it is inserting your passion into it, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter if you're Ralph Waldo Emerson or Steve Jobs that never really invented anything. He just took what someone else did and made it better. You can do that. Take what someone else has done and just make it better. Reimagine it in your own way. Rewrite it in your own way. Repurpose it in your own way. All right? And you can find ways to monetize this and make yourself extremely wealthy and successful so when you can get up and out of bed, you can feel this zip. If you're 60, 70 years old right now and you have a degree that you want to have, you can go to school right now and get the degree. When I was in a state in the Dakotas once, I can recall having a doctor at the Veterans Administration, and I was his first patient. He had graduated from college medical school at 55 years old. Just imagine that. 55 years old. Most of us would say, I'm too old. But you realize that right now, the medical care that we get, you can go back to school at 75 years old right now and start a new career and go to medical school? You might not be perfect at it, but you can become a therapist, you can become all the things. And if you died at 80, 90 years old, 110 years old, so what? You could have done the same thing and died at 30 or 40 or 28 or so. This is a great opportunity for you to reinvent yourself to the person you want to be. Time is no longer an excuse. Not having the money, especially if you're living in America, is not an excuse. You can do it. We have the tools to help you. You can get yourself embodied in a new person right now and repurpose your life right now. We're here to help you. We did it ourselves. I guarantee you, if you just get up, put a smile on your face and say, I'm going where everybody else has been great, has gone before. Take care.